Hi everyone, this is Dr. G. Saiti Datar, Team MDS Conquer. So today I'm going to discuss about the management of the COVID-19 or the coronavirus. Okay, so in the recent INI-CET exam, I think you have come across few questions based on the drugs and management of the COVID-19. So that's the reason I've listed out the drugs which have been used for the treating the coronavirus patients. Okay, so actually as per the evidences that is being provided and as per the literature, there is no particular cure for coronavirus yet. Okay, so there is no particular drug that can completely eradicate the virus from the patient. But yes, there are many drugs that have been tried in vitro, as well as there are many clinical studies that have been done so as to at least decrease the symptoms and decrease the viral load in the patient. Okay, so coming to the drugs. So these drugs are broadly classified as antimicrobial and adjuvant drugs. Adjuvant or supportive drugs. Okay, so coming to the antimicrobial drugs, there are a list of drugs, but most commonly the drugs which are being used or which are being tried is the hydroxychloroquine, the remdesivir, the favipiravir, ivermectin, and very rarely ritonavir. Okay, when coming to the the adjuvant or the supportive drugs, those include the anticoagulants, the fibrinolytic drugs, the NSAIDs, the antibiotics like the azithromycin or the doxycycline, corticosteroids. Okay, so all these are the adjuvant or the supportive drugs that are being used in order to have the symptomatic relief in the patient as well as to show its own effect. Okay, so these are the drugs we'll be discussing one by one. So coming to the first one, so remdesivir is being a nucleoside analog. Okay, so it is a nucleoside analog and it inhibits RNA dependent RNA polymerase. Okay, so this is its mechanism of action and it is being used in hospitalized patients. Okay, and as per the FDA, it should be given greater than 12 years age. Okay, should be given greater than patients, means it should not be given in kids. It should be given for greater than 12 years of age and less than 40 kgs of the body weight. So this is regarding the remdesivir. Okay, and in vitro studies said that there is a broad spectrum for the coronavirus. It has treated it has a broad spectrum against the coronavirus. So besides that, these are the important points. It's a nucleoside analog. Mechanism of action is it inhibits the RNA dependent RNA polymerase and it can be used in hospitalized patients provided the FDA has said that it should be used greater than 12 years of age and less than 40 kgs body weight. Okay, so this is regarding remdesivir. Next, hydroxychloroquine. We are pretty well aware that it is anti-malarial drug. So being an anti-malarial, yes, it had showed its effect in treating the coronavirus patients because it can prevent the viral assembly. Okay, so with the spike proteins, the viral gets assembled or fused with that of the host, right, host cell. So it prevents the assembly of the virus, it prevents the transport of the virus, and also it's said to prevent the release of virus. And also it inhibits the ACE2 cellular receptor. Okay, so it inhibition of ACE2 cellular receptor inhibition. So even that is being exhibited by the hydroxychloroquine. So which is again important for the fusion of the virus with that of the host cell. Okay, so because of this mechanism of action, hydroxychloroquine is being given to the patients who are being hospitalized with coronavirus. Okay, so even being an anti-malarial drug, since it prevents or it inhibits the assembly of the virus, it can also inhibit the transport as well as the release of the virus. So because of all these mechanisms of actions exhibited by the hydroxychloroquine, being an anti-malarial drug, it can be used in patients suffering from coronavirus, especially those who are hospitalized. Okay, so this is the second drug. Next, favipiravir. So the common like Glenmark has given the trade name of the drug, which is the Fabiflu. Okay, so this is being available in the market. So its composition is nothing but the favipiravir and this is being used for mild to moderate cases. Okay, even favipiravir shows an investigational inhibition of RNA-dependent RNA polymerase, and maybe that could be the reason for the mechanism of action for which it has been tried in patients suffering from coronavirus. And yes, it has been available in the market as FabiFlu as 400 mg tablets, and that is being given for mild to moderate cases. Okay, so this is regarding the favipiravir. Next, ritonavir. Based on the clinical studies, it is said that it has a negative clinical data, and there is a little unfavorable pharmacodynamics, because of which it is not that used. It is a HIV protease inhibitor. Okay, so we know it is used against HIV, so it is a protease inhibitor. Okay, so because of unfavorable pharmacodynamics and also because of the negative clinical data, it is not that being used for the coronavirus. But yes, it is one of the drug that is being tried. Okay, so at least you need to have an idea. It is a drug that has been tried for the treating the patients. But yes, it is not that used globally. Okay, so yes, now the next drug is ivermectin. So ivermectin, being an anti-parasitic drug. Okay, so it is said that it's award-winning drug. In October 2020, it is being an award-winning drug to treat the coronavirus patients. So why? Because the mechanism of action states that it inhibits alpha or beta 1 transport proteins, okay, which plays a very important or a key role in intracellular transport, and which actually the virus uses to enhance the infection by inhibiting the antiviral response of the host. Okay, so because of this particular mechanism of action, that it inhibits alpha or the beta 1 transport proteins, which the virus actually uses to enhance its infection by again inhibiting the antiviral response of the host. Since that is being inhibited, this drug has shown its effect in treating the patients with coronavirus, because it has decreased the severity of the disease in that particular patient suffering from the virus. Okay, so that's the reason the ivermectin being used nowadays. So what is the latest drug? According to the studies that have been shown in literature and according to the clinical data, ivermectin, yes, it is one of the antimicrobial drug that has shown its effect in decrease in severity of the virus in the patient suffering from the COVID-19. Okay, now next we'll discuss the adjuvant or the supportive drugs that are being used for treating the coronavirus patients. So number one is the anticoagulant. So the low molecular weight heparin is being used. Why should the anticoagulants being given as a supportive therapy? Yes, it has to be given in order to have a prophylaxis of venous thromboembolism. Okay, so for prophylaxis of venous thromboembolism in a hospitalized or a severe or a critical coronavirus patient, for prophylaxis of venous thromboembolism, this anticoagulants like low molecular weight heparin have to be used. So the coronavirus patients who have been admitted in the hospital, there are elevated D-dimer levels. Okay, so D-dimer is nothing but it's a fragment which is being formed when a plasma cleaves fibrin to break the clot. Okay, so D-dimer levels have been elevated in patients with coronavirus. So based on that, the doctors have put the patients who are suffering from the coronavirus on low molecular weight heparin. Yes, Fondapavrunix can also be used. Okay, Fondapavrunix can also be used, but yes, it cannot be used in patients who are who can be compatible with low molecular weight heparin, and it can be used in patients who is already having heparin induced thrombocytopenia. Okay, so if I am an examiner, I would like to ask a question like, a patient is being admitted in the hospital with COVID-19. So in order to have prophylaxis of venous thromboembolism, what is the following that you can give, and provided the patient is already having heparin induced thrombocytopenia. So you can't go over go for low molecular weight heparin. You have to go for Fondapavril. Okay, so because low molecular weight heparin again can induce the thrombocytopenia, so in those particular patients you have to go for Fondapavril. Okay, so this is regarding the anticoagulants. Why is it being used in patients suffering from coronavirus? Because it's elevated D-dimer levels. So based on that, they have tried as an adjuvant therapy, which has shown the decrease in the severity of the deaths or decrease in the severity of the disease, and also the death rate has also fallen down. So that is one of the main reason why the anticoagulants have been given as an adjuvant therapy for coronavirus. Okay. Next, azithromycin or doxycycline, the antibacterials and the antibiotics, yes, they can also be given in order to prevent superinfection. Okay, so even that has given as a adjuvant therapy. Next, corticosteroids, yes, in severe critical patients suffering from coronavirus, the corticosteroids showing its anti-inflammatory action, the corticosteroids like dexamethasone is being given to the patients. Okay, for 7 to 10 days, the patients are put on the corticosteroids in order to decrease the severity of the disease. So many randomized control trials have been done, and the evidence states that it has decreased the severity of the disease, and the death rate is also fallen down after using the corticosteroids like dexamethasone. So besides dexamethasone, the other drugs like prednisone can also be used, but commonly the dexamethasone is being used for 7 to 10 days. Okay, and that has shown a decrease in the severity of the disease or the severity of the virus, that has showing in effect, that has showed its effect in the patient suffering from it. Okay, because of the anti-inflammatory action, as we have discussed in the pathogenesis, there are many inflammatory mediators that are being released as a consequence of the pathogenesis of this virus. So anti-inflammatory drugs like the corticosteroids can be given in order to show its effect. Okay, so even this is given as a supportive therapy. Next, convalescent plasma. Yes, we know many patients have been asking for plasma donors, right? Because the plasma from the recovered patient have the antibodies against the coronavirus. So that's the reason the plasma donors are being searched here and there, so that the plasma can, who have been recovered from the coronavirus, if they donate the plasma to the patient suffering from the coronavirus, the antibodies can act against the virus so that the patient can be recovered from the severity of the disease. So even for the hospitalized patients, the plasma is being given from the recovered patient. So even this is being used nowadays. I think you are aware of it. Next, the NSAIDs. We know, yes, the patient is having high fever, right? So you can give an antipyretic drug, which is the NSAID. So you can give a paracetamol as a supportive therapy in order to show its antipyretic action. So even that is being used as an adjuvant therapy because of its antipyretic action, especially the NSAIDs like the paracetamol is being given. Okay. Next, the nutritional supplements. Yes, the zinc, the vitamin C, and also the vitamin D supplements are being given for the coronavirus patients. It's not only for treating, also for the prophylaxis. These supplements having the zinc, the vitamin C are being given. Okay, so I think even you are very aware of it. So even on a daily basis as a prophylaxis, of course, there is no 100% proof that they have prevented, these nutritional supplements have prevented the virus occurring in the patients. But yes, it can at least make the patient able to fight the virus. Okay, so that's the reason both for prophylaxis as well as for the treatment, the nutritional supplements like the zinc, the vitamin C, and as well as the vitamin D can be given as a supportive or a adjuvant therapy. Okay, so next, the other drugs. So besides all these drugs that have been listed here, the other drugs like the interleukin antagonist. Okay, you know, the patients who are having the coronavirus, there is a cytokine storm. Okay, so when a blood test is being done, you can see a cytokine storm, the high levels of interleukins in these patients. So yes, there is interleukin antagonists that can be given, but yet there is no particular clinical based evidence of what all drugs have shown its efficacy. But the interleukin antagonist like Anakira, okay, so drugs like Anakira have been tried, they are under trials, okay, in order to reduce the level of cytokines. There is a cytokine storm in the COVID-19 patients. So in order to reduce the cytokine storm and in order to reduce the levels of the interleukin antagonist can also be given. So these come under the other category, yet they come under the supportive therapy as well. Okay, so these are the various drugs that are being used for management of the COVID-19 or the coronavirus, I think you need to be well aware of all these drugs listed. Okay, so as of now, till date, these are the drugs that are being tried and that are being used. Okay, so maybe in future there will be the drug which can completely eradicate the virus. Let's hope for that. But as of now, let's have the idea of what all are the drugs and what all are the treatment modalities that are being tried and that are being used for the coronavirus patients. Okay, so just have an idea of all these. Okay, thank you.